Hi guys. Um, I have something I actually bought like almost a year ago now. Well, it's been like maybe 8 months, and I did unboxing of it, and I'll tell you how it is. Um, and would I recommend buying this actually? Um, so let me see. So this is my Sony Walkman a55. It's the black version. Um, you can get headphones with this, but it also has NFC, so you can basically do some NFC short transfer. I mean, NFF transfers, which is which you when you just touch it to another smartphone or another smart device, and it'll transfer. This can act as a Bluetooth transceiver, so if you plug this in to if you plug in some headphones to activate Bluetooth transceiver function, you can basically hook it to the Bluetooth on your computer, and then once you hook it to the computer, you can have a Bluetooth headset using some headphones of your choice. Um, they work with like any quality headphones. So like Sandoras will work really good with these, or any kind of open back if you're wearing them outside, so you can hear. Um, or if you want to use the radio function, you basically can use the actual earbuds that they're meant to come with, that they're meant to go with. You have to buy them separately. You can get the cable separately. I have this plugged into this computer so I can transfer data. Has a micro SD card slot, so you can put in you can put it up to a 1 terabyte micro SD card. You can put, it says 512, but 1 terabyte just form format properly, and um and once the 2 terabyte comes out, you can put in a 2 terabyte um um whatever. It has a play pause button. It has a play pause button on the side. It has fast forward rewind, uh or next track. It has volume markers, and also has power button. It has a lock screen, so when you put it into your pocket, you actually can lock it, so it doesn't basically, so your shorts or whatever your pants wearing or wherever you have it doesn't basically go to next track or change it. You can put audiobooks on here. You can put MP3s. You can put podcasts, whatever that's in it. That is a FLAC MP3, FLAC. It plays pretty much everything. Just to let you know, the bigger micro SD card and the more stuff you have on here, the longer the database takes to create it. So basically, um, there's that. This can also be used as a USB DAC. So basically, if you plug the USB into the computer, and change it to like DAC mode, you can literally use this as a headphone DAC and amplifier. So if you take, for example, one second. So if you take, for example, these headphones right here, you can plug them into here and plug it into the actual computer without using a dedicated headphone slash a headphone amplifier or DAC, like like the shit stack or the Mjolnir or or the or the Asgard. Those are good ones. Or tube amplifiers, something that would use to drive headphones, and hook that to your interface. So a DAC slash amp combo, or just an amp hooked to a DAC, like a um audio interface. Um yeah. So basically, this the battery literally, if you let the battery if you just let the music play, and depending on what you're playing. It literally can last up to 2 weeks on like a single charge, while just continues playing in the background because of I made a mistake with this device when actually playing it. I've let it run in the background, well, on a shelf for like about a week, and then when I came back, there was like 20% left of the battery. This is with just this device, and a pair of Sendor doors plugged in. I've tried the HD 650s on there. They work okay. I would also um but those are just ones I tried in here to see if like the quality would actually be good. I tried it with alternative cables and the stock K cables. They both work actually perfectly fine for Sendoras, and also the um the HD 400s. I mean the HD 650s. And I've also tried the Beyerdynamic DT 770s. That were custom modified to basically have a detachable cable, and then the H and then the Beyerdynamic DT 990s and the 980s. And the 880s, I would say, and um um also a pair of Hi-Fi Men. Uh, what were they called? I don't remember the actual specific name, but they were ones that I've actually used before. Uh, but mainly the headphones I use because I don't want to carry headphone types with me unless I'm going on like a long trip and I want comfort over portability. Because usually when I go, for example, shopping for stuff outside, and I take my headphones with me or a car ride, I and I'm just wanting to basically, like for example Uber, I end up basically taking earbuds with me. They're the Beyerdynamic earbuds that I use. They work perfectly fine with that. Those are the ones I mainly use. I've tried many different headphones. There's also um a lanyard spot on here too. So right here, so you can basically put a lanyard on there. Cable right here is a universal cable. It's not universal. It's the same cable you basically get for the Sony PlayStation Vita. They also works with the PSP Go, same as that cable. Since it is a Sony product, the actual cable is compatible. You can basically get these off of Amazon or eBay for pretty cheap. I recommend getting one for the computer for transferring data, one for a backpack if you take it with you with a battery bank, and also one basically to have plugged into a USB port for actually charging so you can charge it at home, and one just for the computer. So I would use the one that comes with for the computer, one for actually charging with like a 40-watt charger, because it with charging at 40 watts it charges pretty fast. Only thing I don't like about it is that this is plastic, and when it gets actually super cold, um, this becomes slippery. The screen becomes slippery, and it's not very nice to the touch. Um, and also the other thing is, um, if you have this switch on right here, it increases the brightness higher, and it basically drains the battery a little bit faster. So if you have this switch off and then just the same thing on it, it doesn't drain as fast. But if you have it on, it drains faster if you just leave it in your pocket and stuff. And so it came with a cover you can basically attach on the bottom of here, and so it basically it could cover up the actual headphone slash charge port. It can actually move the actual charge port, I mean the headphone port, and then just keep the charge port covered up. So it becomes completely water resistant at that point. It's not waterproof, it's water resistant. Um the this part also is water resistant because it basically clips in. Right here is a 512 gigabyte micro SD card. But a 1 terabyte works. I have a one terabyte that I use, and the reason I actually got this was not because I needed it, it's because of I have a phone right here. It's right here. A phone that can play music all perfectly fine. But the reason I actually have this is because of when I need to make a phone call, my battery's usually dead, or basically interrupts my music, or basically um it just gets basically messes up with my actual with my it messes up my um when it messes up my actual playlist when I add when I add ringtones onto my phone. The music player I use basically adds the ringtones. It adds all the music from the phone into the single playlist, which kind of messes up my actual how I have my playlist set up for listening. And also, this thing does come with 16 gigabytes of internal storage that you can put music onto. Also comes with the software you actually need to hook it up to Mac OS or basically um um so a certain Windows software to basically make it manageable, like for like creating custom cover art and stuff like that, or basically add or getting cover art for like all your songs. So, but as long as you have actually them tagged properly, like without the need of Sony's software, you actually could basically it should automatically appear how it should be tagged because it creates the database. So when you basically unplug this in for the first time to the computer, it will basically add it will add basically cover arts for actually known actual songs that are from the base as long as you update the firmware, which I did when I first got this. It will add all the songs that are released at the time, and it also basically compares to a database on the internet. That's from Sony's website. And so when you plug this in, it downloads that to the microSD card database, which is on a single file in here, or using internal storage, it will download it there. And then you just drag all your music onto here into the music folder, and then it'll appear. And also, it will, if you have podcasts on here, it won't basically get the podcast, and it won't get the actual audiobooks. It will only get the music and also learning material like um how to speak a certain language or whatever. It will get those. The ones it will pick up are from Japanese mainly and English, since Sony is a Japanese company, and they also have like English. So if you do a firmware update, it should detect almost every language that exists for like songs. So like Latin, it would be an obscure one. Some other dead languages that have music with that were actually made in those languages. Not really, don't have no many music like that. The only I only know a certain couple Latin songs, um, like um, Latin probably is a dead language. Talking about like probably a dead language around for sure, but not really know much about different languages. But I know the text English, Japanese, Spanish, Latin, German, French, Italian, uh, Jewish. Uh, those are some of ones that I actually know about because some songs I have are in each of those languages. Um, it would also, if you get this, you might want to use a case. I've got a case for. You should probably get a rubber case just in case you don't want this thing to get all scratched up. Um, it's not. It doesn't get hot, but it also basically, when it does get actually cold, the battery drains super fast. So if you live in like a winter environment, you want to get an actual rubber case to actually keep the basically battery from like draining super fast. Because I've noticed when basically when it snows that the 2 weeks end up being a week. That's with like stuff like um lower bit rate stuff, something that you can't really tell with the just on earbuds. So unless you're high in earbuds, what but I would do this is if you're getting one of these, um take your music, if it's in high quality FLAC, I recommend I would make a lossless version just so you can have the lossless version for your MP3s because one, it saves on battery. Two, you will most likely be using this with like earbuds. And if you're using extra headphones, then use FLAC or any higher quality codec. But the problem there is it will eat up a lot more extra battery. But if you're trying to get at least 2 weeks from this, I noticed that a lossless codec would actually a lossless codec like MP3 would actually work. But if you want something a little bit smaller in file size, but does a lot more, that gives a lot more speed, I recommend something like Wave, which also plays um I recommend if you do want to use this outside, get an anti-glare screen protector because the sun's glare basically kind of kills actually the screen. I keep the brightness pretty low. The volume with the specific headphones I use can't I really don't like them past 34. 35 would be the highest I would go because of it becomes too actually loud then. And with these headphones I'm wearing now, I can go up to 38 without it sounding distorted in my headphones. This with higher quality codecs and also MP3s. It just sounds really um not bad. It just sounds um what's it called? Um distorted in these headphones. It's not the codec. I'm just thinking it's just the headphone jack because the headphone jack itself is um pretty um because for these specific headphones I had to go from a a 1/8 jack to 1/4, so that could be an issue um with the Bear Dynamic headphones I was using basically are um they have a microphone built into them and it causes scratches there like when you turn the actual cable. But if you just use because they're tip ring sleeve, so it's just a dual ring slash sleeve K cable. I mean port. So it would make a little bit of distortion if you plug it into a non-tip ring sleeve device. And if you are plugging in just a tip ring sleeve device or a TRS cable, front of that is just a 1/8 jack, then you wouldn't. Then there shouldn't be any distortion. Because I actually have a pair of tip ring sleeve. I mean, kind of tip ring sleeve adapter that works. I mean, a tip ring sleeve cable. I mean, headphone for a custom pair of Sennheiser HD 800s, but and that one is perfectly fine. But um, I use those headphones somewhere else. I don't want to basically just take actually those headphones out just in case um like because I've actually had a pair of HG 600s that I've used and they were damaged because of the cable got damaged because it got caught. somewhere, and it basically messed up the actual connector. So I don't take out high-end headphones outside, and it's basically got caught on someone's coat because they got a little too close to like me. But yeah, um this one is something I would buy, and um I would also recommend just if you want to if you want a um a bigger SD card. I recommend um I recommend getting a 1 terabyte if you want to have like all of your your lossless stuff on like on a micro SD card, and just plug it in so you can just have your whole music library in there, or just certain songs at higher quality. So I just have this with all my music on here at a FLAC. I mean at a lossly file format, because if I have all the lossless files on my storage device that I listen to through other headphones. This is just for portableness, and it's basically meant to it's meant so I don't have to have a um a um a um a music player on my phone, and it wouldn't interrupt my calls and other stuff I do on my phone. So if I want to just listen to music and not worry about my phone, I can just plug this headphones in and put it in, and just put it in my pocket. Versus if a notification happens that interrupts my music, and I check the notification, it's nothing important, and my music goes actually back to like full actually blast how I had it. And also just with my specific headphone right here, that I had to have for this, I have to have my MP3 player. I have to have it minimum at maximum 35 and minimum 34, just to basically sound okay. But with this phone right here, I've had to I've had to add in I've had to add in I've had to add um um extra extra levels, just so I could basically get um sound sounding sound from my headphones. They're the same exact headphones, but instead of it going through the headphone jack, it goes through a USB-C to 3.5 millimeter cable. So yeah, it works. I recommend this. Honestly, I would say if you wanted something that's not a Sony Walkman, I say the Fio X3 Gen 3, I think it is. Or if you want just something that's Apple wise, get the iPod Classic with a micro SD card mod. I have this because of it just natively supports micro SD. I don't have to take the thing apart just to actually add an actual micro SD card. And this thing's easy to fix because you just take off the actual sides. Right, you just take off this part right here, and then the battery's right here, and then you just replace the actual battery. And it's the only downside is that um it basically needs to you actually that the database takes forever to like create. So it takes forever to recreate this actual database. So if you add a new song, it recreates the actual database. If you delete a song, it recreates the database, and that takes pretty long. If you have anything bigger than a 256 gigabyte micro SD card, if you have 128, that seems to be the fastest it will go. If you have a 1 terabyte or 512 or higher, it will basically take forever. And depending on how many songs, it will also take actually forever, even more. So But these headphones that allow you to listen to the radio portion of this are around 30-40 bucks on Amazon, but I didn't get them because of I didn't need them, and I don't really listen to radio with basically an MP3 player. If I wanted like song like radio, I could literally just load up internet radio on my phone, but I don't really listen to radio that much. If I wanted to listen to something, I listen to music. So, and I have this for actually just the music portion and not the radio portion. So, and also just let you know, if you do get the gray one, it comes with a black cable. If you get the other colors, it comes with the same color cable as the device. This is black. This is black. The red gets red. The blue gets blue. Um, and then um, and they have an updated version of this that runs Android, but the Android version I don't like because I run into the same fact the issue that I have use with my phone, that using it with my phone, it's not just an MP3 player, it becomes a multimedia device at that point, and I just want something just for music and nothing else because of I don't want to have like videos on this. Just I don't want to have basically different. I don't want to have videos, web browser, or anything like this. I just want something for music, which this does. And if you just want a music device, this is the perfect thing. It's the a55 from Sony. It's the Sony Walkman a55. It's is the cheapest one. They have the A57, which is the more expensive one. Then the A80, I think it is, which is the which is the um Android version of this device. Um, you can skip tracks. You can basically shuffle it just like an iPod shuffle instead of shaking it to like shuffle like actually the iPod shuffle. You just press the shuffle button and it'll play next song in the folder, and or just skip around the folders. And also, if you just have shuffle off and you start in one folder, it will continue in that folder. So let's just say you have a folder, for example, um, um, any song you actually can think of, any artist that has multiple albums in their actual in the in the in their actual that they've made, you pretty much can just, so let's just say album one is album one and album two is two, but there's like 20 tracks in each of them. So if you press the first one to if you press track one in um in collection one or album one, you press play on the first one, it'll play number one, two, three, etc., until you get to the last track, which would be track 20. And in this case, it will go to album two, track one, and it'll continue playing like that. Let's just say that's the end of the albums and that one. Then you pretty much just have to um make sure you have another um artist with actually another with like more tracks, and it'll continue playing through the whole folder, and it'll keep going down the list from actually parent to child folders, and it'll keep doing that till it gets to like the end. So you can basically just have an endless a like endless music listening session. Or if you are um or if you have call it um podcast on here, it'll go from one podcast to the next one to the next one as long as it's in the folder on how you order it on micro SD or your internal storage. And then it'll also go from actually also do that with audio books as long as the audiobook is named chapter one, chapter two, chapter three, chapter four, and the books go in orders. For example, I'm gonna say Harry Potter, for example. You basically can have the whole Harry Potter book on here by basically having the um the Sorcerer's Stone, which is then chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then the Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, etc. Um, just so you can basically have them all play through actually the actual list, and then you can just have it play that way, and then you can have headphones in, make sure, and for all, and it'll just go right through, or you can have it hooked to a Bluetooth speaker because it has Bluetooth capabilities, or you can have it hooked up to headphones. Um, and so with, for example, Harry Potter, um, it'll just go through and um, what was I gonna say? It'll, I mean, so basically, it'll keep going through even if you don't pause. You actually can pause and search the actual spot, and then press double tap the actual back button, and it'll basically go back a couple steps. Same thing with forward, and then after that, um, you can just press pause to pause, play to play. Also, when doing audiobooks in general, um, audiobooks don't use up that much battery slash so basically if you are listening audiobooks, it will use less power. I've noticed this with like Harry Potter specifically because of it would basically turn off. Because I don't know if it detects the books properly, but when it does detect an audiobook, it just basically um it basically it lowers down the brightness that I notice. But this is after the firmware update. After I got this, I don't know how how it worked before that because I didn't actually use this before the firmware update, and I just firmware updated it right away just to make sure it was up to like date instead of just trying it beforehand. So I don't really know. I can probably try to get another one just to see what the firmware update date is like. Um, yeah, this device is one of my favorite MP3 players. I've tried many of them. I've tried the iPod Classic. So I've tried the iPod Classic. I've tried um the Theo. I've tried just I've tried the iPod Touch, and like the iPod Classic was actually the best one I've actually used until the Theo. Theo was actually the better one because it basically could actually store different micro SD cards. And this one is basically my favorite from the actual 3 versus the customized iPod Classic with 100 and I mean with a 1 TB SSD and one with the 128 gigs of storage. I've tried with multiple SD cards and it just didn't work how I would like it. But this one works out perfectly fine. So, hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.